All right, guys. Not a ton of people, so we'll kind of roll through it and obviously super open forum if you got any questions at all about what we do. I also left my card, our spring ball calendar, and I know there's guys from all over the country here, but our doors are always open, like ultra open. Come up during spring ball in the summer, whenever works for you guys. Love to have you. Our head coach is very open to coaches from any level coming. And after sitting here listening to Mike Tomlin talk for an hour, I'm like more fired up to coach somebody than I have been in a while. So, but you guys are more welcome to just call our office. Like I said, I left spring ball calendars here. My card is here. If you guys want the clips or want the actual clinic, shoot me an email and our video guy will send it right over to you. So, and if you guys have any questions or I can help you in any way, my cell phone's on there. Love to have you. RPOs. The RPOs are such a general term. Like if you ask our head coach, who's an offensive guy, who's super involved in what we do, he'd say we're not really an RPO offense. Like we're and he's a Mount Union guy, and his whole deal is always going to be we're not. He doesn't want to label himself into an offense, and it's very Larry Karras like. We play the best 11 guys on the field, and it's players, formations, plays, but when we go to football one-on-one with our young guys in the winter, first thing Coach Campbell will draw will be 3-by-1 zone bubble. Right, Coach? He's seen it forever. 3-by-1 zone bubble, and that's how we start teaching our offense. So whatever we are, we use RPOs in a variety of different ways based on the guys we have out there and the types of RPOs we have used over the years, and what we have gotten to at Iowa State here in the last 2 years has been truly finding an outlet throw with every run we have for a quarterback that couldn't move at all to now a quarterback that can move, and now we can get back to our true read option, triple option football, whether it's throwing it or running it, and I'll kind of go with that. The first thing, and this was a big answer for us, when our quarterback couldn't throw or couldn't run, and then we've since found out, since we've got a young man that can run, but happened to be a freshman this year, we spent all year this year with a kid that was the last 8 games of the year, 9 games of the year with a true freshman quarterback, and it was how can we get the ball out of his hands as fast as we can, and we went back to what we call advantage throws, call them whatever you want, but they're pre-snap decisions where there's grass, you take it. And what I mean by that is, for example, like tagging a hitch, a locked hitch onto a run, inside zone, outside zone, but tagging a 3-step, 3 big, 2 little, or on the outside, a whip hitch off of a run, on the inside, a true 3-step stop off of a run. So if you're looking here, and this is a little bit different because it's behind me, but this happens to be 12 personnel, inside zone, with double cutoff on the backside. And literally just tagging hitches on both sides, or in this case, to the top away from the run, and him pre-snap determining, and us, again, like I said, this kid's a freshman here, but us telling him going into the week, hey, if the corner's more than 6 yards off, take the hitch, pre-snap, don't read anything else. And what we mean by advantage throws is you have the advantage based on alignment, or you have the advantage based on the defensive look, pre-snap, nothing to read, you're taking that right down. He's more than 6 yards off, we know he's going to bail, take it. And is it an RPO? Pre-snap, it's an advantage throw for us. He knows right now that he can throw it again. We go 5 steps on the outside, 3 steps if we're doing it with an inside receiver off of run, but letting him have it, letting him take it. If it's on both sides and it's pressed up, these guys know they're not going to get the ball, they're just going to go run block. But if we told him to the field, you have it, you take it. And there's a ton of examples of it. And this game here in particular, we're not, and this isn't to pick on who we're playing, but this was a tempo play for us, and we ran it 8 times in this game, and we threw it 8 times to the single receiver into the boundary. And literally, we said the same exact rule going into this game. 6 yards off, you're taking the hitch. That's our best player. That's our big dude up at the top. He's more than 6 yards off, take it. They're an odd team, but they play odd stack. Not afraid of an underneath dropper dropping into the boundary, getting underneath it, take it. And literally, there's 1, there's 2, and like I said, the structure of this defense, they happen to play, this is a one-high defense, but even in their quarters, they were so afraid of the single receiver that they kept bailing them, and we just kept throwing it and taking 6 yards at a time. And again, this for us was just an advantage throw. This is a coming out, but this is not a tempo, but same thought here. More than 6 yards away, somewhat of a judgment call there, but as long as we know he's going to bail, just take it pre-snap. There's nothing to read. And again, for a young kid, we thought as much as we can make it simple for him to give him an outlet right now. And letting him, like in this case, and you saw the previous clip, lining up FSL 3x1, motioning the slot over back to the field, and letting him see what that boundary corner is going to do. He backs up at all, gets to more than 6 yards away. We know off of a 3 big, 2 little hitch, we can back that corner up off of us and literally take it. Take 4 to 6 yards, a little bit easier than trying to run it. This is the same game, same exact picture, FSL. Letting him see what happens when we motion across and taking that boundary hitch. Now to the field, like I was saying, we're trying to go three step. This kid is wrong to go 5 steps to the field. But it's the same thing. If the Sam was heavy into the box, the advantage throw would be to the inside receiver. And we do it a variety of different ways. We do it with hitches being the easiest. This is a quads shift look for us. This is literally just trying to get, we're playing Baylor, trying to get these guys to move and adjust. There's running inside zone with a cutter out of a movement formation, and same exact thing here to the field. More than 6, and it depends what you think that corner's going to do. Usually the field corner's their worst cover guy, most of the time the worst player, and if you feel like this is a way for us to hide our X receiver to the field, our best receiver, knowing that we can get him on their worst player and throw a hitch. Bad throw, bad execution, it's still a 7-yard gain without really any work. And most corners team will give you that field flat all day. So this is the same exact thought, still an advantage throw for us. We're in an open set, still running inside zone with a cutter, just motioning to get the defense to move. This is from our bowl game movement. Our movement by us got these guys moving and declaring their look relatively early. Now we're doing the same exact thing into the boundary, just running a quick out, which is a 4-step out for us, second inside step, and then running bubble to the field. So the advantage throw is the Ohio, as we would call it, or Oregon, by a single receiver, and then your triple option read. Once you go into actually running the ball, it's back to the field. So the advantage throw, which is what I'm hitting on, is into the boundary. Do you have it? You've got it. And these guys, same as we talked about, Kansas did not drop underneath defenders out. These guys are based out of a 3-4, but would take the end, stand them up, drop them out. We knew that if we ran split zone at him with our F, there's no way that guy would ever drop away from it with run read at him. With the back, with the back running inside zone and with a split flow, fullback, or in this case H-back, whatever you want to call it, coming at him, we knew that he would step down. So again, freshman quarterback, make it really simple for him. Let him set up the play such a way that we know we're going to hold any possible boundary drop or out. Look, if you like the corner being off to the top, just take the field out, or the boundary out. Again, advantage throw for us to the field, they're running bubble, and we'll get to that here in a second. And like I said, we just give it one word, call it ram. Same deal here, now without a split flow, but with an attached tight end, with creating an extra gap on the backside so we know he can't drop, because we know he's got to be the force fit outside. Now, one high or a Bronco safety, a safety coming down and hitching down with the tight end attached over there. The quarterback's just got to navigate it, make sure he can get it in there. And again, knowing that that's what these guys do, hitches as an advantage throw are not the answer, because they are liable to have a boundary flat player. So an Oregon route for us is the answer. And again, as simple as it is, that's our best player. That corner is going to bail out of there because we chuck it to him deep an ungodly amount of times. So to be able to take this as an 11-yard gain on 1st and 10. Same game, same answer, and again you can see split flow now, inside zone to hold it, to hold that possible boundary dropper or a boundary Bronco safety down. Same exact deal. This is a PN10 drive starter, being able to take the advantage throw into the boundary. Last example here, same thought, same play, now without motioning, a little bit different personnel, having an actual fullback in the game, but same thought, again, you could see as a PN10 drive starter to get the quarterback going. All of these advantage throws, if they weren't a tempo play to keep the ball going down the field, was just to get us a completion started on 1st down. And every head coach, hey, get him comfortable, get him feeling good about himself, give him an easy hitch or an out, easiest throw on the board, and let him take it. And even if he's wrong and that corner is not bailing, that's a tough route to cover. P&10, 6 yards, 2nd and 4 makes it relatively easy. So let me move on. So bubble. All right, for us, like I had mentioned, day one, football 101, in our offense, we put in the zone bubble. Now, 3x1 bubble, kind of at this point, you could say, like in our league, very rarely can you line up and run 3x1 bubble. If people press the field corner, people take the nickel and play them outside of 2. People have figured out how to stop 3x1 zone bubble. What people haven't figured out how to do is stop it when they're zone blitzing, allowing us to check to it, or if you can prove that you can throw deep off of the zone bubble, then the zone bubble can open itself up. So, like I said, for us, we started, this is a bad look to start with, but we still start day one teaching our quarterbacks and our entire offense zone bubble. One, it allows you to teach defensive ID. Here's your Sam linebacker, here's your Mike linebacker, that's your strong safety, that's your free safety, that's your away linebacker. And allows you, and I'm not trying to make it sound elementary, but allows you to teach everybody on the offense what triple option spread football is in one play. Inside zone, bubble. So, and spacing on the field, spacing between the receivers is critical. All those things it allows you to teach, which is why we like starting with it, whether we ever run it in the course of a year or not, as a true called play, not tempo, just call it. It depends who you're playing. Like this is Akron early in the year, this past year, they happened to be a 4-down quarters team. Well, we can run zone bubble against a 4-down quarters team. So biggest thing, and this play for us has grown over the years in terms of how we've studied it and how we've been able to get better with it. First thing that we've figured out is we've studied other people, and I thought Coach Pruitt did a good job hitting it. Like, we didn't invent any of this. We stole it from other people, and then we've just tried to get continuously better at it. But the spacing between the 3 receivers and 3-by bubble is more important. The separation between those 3 is more important than the width of number 3. Meaning, the alignment of those 3 in their width is more important than how wide that bunch actually is. So what we have figured out for us is ball on the hash. Again, college hashes, I believe, are 2 yards on bolts on either side, tighter than a high school hash. But we would put the point man at 2 yards outside the hash. So as the ball moves here at 4 yards off the hash, he is 4 yards farther outside. But again, where he lines up is somewhat irrelevant in terms of, as long as he sets it, we're good. The outside receiver, the man outside of him is at 5 yards outside of him, and the bubble man is at 4 yards inside of the point man. So the point man has to get set. In this picture, it's our tight end. But he has to get set. The guy catching the bubble is 4 yards inside of him. The outside piece of the block is 5 yards outside of the point man. Now, in 3-by bubble, the man catching the bubble is going to take a quick jab, and then he is going to back out of it. All right, the tempo of that is the same every single time, because we know that he's 4 yards apart from the point man, so his tempo can be the same. It's the same in 2-by bubble. His tempo can be the same every time. So, meaning that he could back out of it the same way exactly every time. Now, why back up rather than run a bubble as I had learned it in whatever it was, 2006? Well, freshman quarterback, it's a much easier throw. And as you rotate different quarterbacks, we have figured out much easier throw. It's an easier target. There's nothing to lead. You literally are ripping it as hard as you can at his number, as fast as you can. So we've gotten to the point where we back him out every single time. Now, for the guy running the bubble, things to be aware of. One, how tight. If it's a triggered field safety or a trigger Sam linebacker or the guy that we're blocking, if he is reading number 3, again, I just listened to Coach Pruitt, Coach Porters, and literally, what's 3 doing? If he's a trigger guy, whoever that is a trigger guy that can go blow it up, whether it's the corner or the Sam linebacker or nickel. If he's going to be a trigger guy, we've gone as far as to take a step up with the bubble guy to hold that read, or to not move him until the quarterback actually catches the ball, then back him out of there to hold the read and set up the blocks as much as we can. We study, if we go into a week, we'll pull out every bubble run against the team that we're game planning against, and if nobody's run a bubble against them, then we won't run a bubble against them either, because we can't study enough to see how they're going to react to 3 doing that. The most important thing on the spacing between 2 and 3 is that when that ball is caught, he is directly behind the point man of the block, the number 2 receiver. He has to be directly behind him. Again, we have toyed around with, man, he should be on his inside leg so he can scrape the ass. He should be slightly outside. The only ones, for the most part, that go for a good read, whether the man over number 2 plays it outside or inside. So the quarters look like this. If he's locked and playing outside, or he's head up, or he's playing inside, the only way it has worked for us is when he is directly behind him when he catches that ball. And you can see here, they are trying to insert the Sam backer. This is a quarter shell, trying to insert the Sam backer as the D-gap player, or in this case, the D-gap player as fast as he can, the force player. Well, we know that if he runs the bubble, he won't feel like he needs to. But if he holds for just a second, we can get him to react on the run, which is what we want. So I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit. So zone bubble, cool. Too high, you're going to read the Mike linebacker. Too high, read the Mike linebacker. Now, and I'm talking the quarterback as far as the read. Read the Mike linebacker. What can take it away? What can take your read off right, literally, for him to look out there and know pre-snap, I can't do anything with it. Press corner outside, we would generally say, unless our guy's just that much better, or we can scheme up some way to block it. Press corner, it's dead. Cool, we're going to run it. You're only going to press the corner if you're going to play a safety over top. Great, that means it's too high, we got numbers in the run anyways, we'll take it. Okay? The Sam backer or the nickel being better than our guy that can block him at number 2. Dead play, cool. And we have very honest, serious discussions in there. Hey, can we block that guy? I'd be the first to say no and move on and say we're not going to run the play. We'll figure out a different way to get the ball out there quick. But those are the two things, and then the third being the safety. For us, we've always said cover down with the safeties inside of 10 yards. If he's outside of 10 yards, he's not covering down. If he's inside of 10 yards, he's a possible cover down. The bubble is dead. Now you're just running zone read, reading the C-gap player, and we're rolling with it. So, too high, corner can take it away. A better player than our number 2 can take it away. If it gets to cover down, so likely one high or just a really nosy safety, one high, you're going to run zone read and read it out. Read the C-gap defender, let's go with it. So for us, this has become a 4-down quarters team, which in the Big 12, God willing, some of these new coaches are going to run 4-down quarters because nobody else does. So it's been that. We play Iowa every year. They're as good as anybody in the country at playing 4-down quarters. And then it's been a blitz beater for us as an answer to blitz against all these odd teams that we play. We're one of them. So the variety of odd robbers, 3-4s, stacks, zone bubble has been a blitz answer. They bring field blitz, we're going to throw bubble. And it slows teams down, makes them cover down. So here we go. Pre-snap, he knows it's too high. The Mike linebacker's in the box. Cool. On the snap, the Mike linebacker steps inside or doesn't work out there, throw the bubble. Throw the bubble. Bubble runner is taught to catch the football, and you're striking a match right off of the man at number 2. Striking a match. He is taught that if I can keep my hat on the outside via the neck, then I'm going to run it as vertical as I can to allow the bubble runner to get vertical. If man over number 2 ends up outside of him, lock coverage, or he jumps it outside as fast as he can, cool. Then we are going to long arm him into the sideline. We used to teach it, hey, you got to keep matching him, keep matching him, keep matching him. We've gotten to the point now where, hey, he jumps outside, and a lot of it is because we use our big receivers there or our tight ends. Rather than get into a deal where you're going to end up holding him, which we all are, literally, he jumps on your outside, you can't get him covered up. Just long arm him. We use long arm in outside zone techniques with our O-line, same exact technique. Long arm him out, bubble. You see color outside, scrape the ass of the man inside. And there's a couple of examples of that. And again, it goes to cover down. If it does go to cover down and we end up throwing it, corner bails. The outside receiver is taught, if man bails, look inside. His actual normal cover rules on any perimeter run. So there's a couple of good pictures here. Now Mike is in a gray area. Now pre-snap read would tell you I got to read him. All right, so the first picture, Mike is in the box, quarterback's thinking, I'm gonna throw this joker out here, more than likely. Now, second picture, he's in a gray area. What's a gray area? We call it an apex, but it's gray. You don't know. Like, overcoach it if you want. Like I said, our kid was a freshman, had no idea what was going on most of the time. And the kid is brilliant, but still had no idea what was going on. Man, he's in a gray area. Cool. Work through your read. He holds or comes in, can't play the bubble, throw it. If he was to run zone read here, he'd be right. If he throws the bubble, he's right. We're okay either way. Cool. This is a really good example of a shitty job by the guy over at number 2. It's my guy, so I can say it. All right? So, boom. Feet get stuck, whatever. This is going to be a really, really tough read for the guy catching the bubble, because when he catches it, the guy blocking over number 2 is super indecisive. His hat's kind of outside, but they're squared up. He has to declare the look for the bubble runner. As much as we coach the bubble runner, and again, the ball's caught right behind him. It looks like it should. As much as we coach the bubble runner, that block, man over number 2, is absolutely critical. He, in this picture, declared nothing for the bubble runner. He has no idea what to do, and it ends up looking like this. It's a 3-yard gain. Last one here, and I'll kind of move on. We go from a 2-by to a 3-by, running zone bubble. Again, reading the mic. The mic is in the box pre-snap. It's 1 high. Cool, 1 high. There's the boundary safety roll down. Still reading the mic. You've got what you want. Let's roll. And again, you can see in this game in particular, these are all from the same game. We're taking our bubble runner, taking a step up with him to hold. He doesn't know if it's 1 high or 2 high, but to hold a possible alley fit player. Let me move on here because there's a handful of things I want to go through. This is when I said we use this as a blitz beater more than anything anymore. This was a year ago. Our quarterback here knew that they're bringing field blitz, and again, there's the Mike backer as he sees it. That's who he's reading. He comes, I'm throwing the bubble. Now, we are bringing the bubble from the back side in a burst motion, and we use bursts and in motions a bunch. But again, the timing up of this, and you catch it into man coverage, again, it's caught directly behind number 2. But for us, we caught it into a Sam strong safety, or as we call Mike, Sam blitz. You got hats for hats, and it ends up being out the gate. We can't cut down the field anymore, so this is good. It happened a year ago. Let me kind of move on here. 2-by. Now we do use 2-by in a variety of different ways. 2-by bubble, but similar thought in terms of how we teach it. This is a 2-high defense. He knows he's going to read the will backer if we're throwing it into the boundary. If we were throwing it to the field, he knows he would read the Sam backer in 2-high. It's that simple for him. Again, trying to keep it as simple as we can. Running, in this case, outside zone, but the boundary, making it as simple as we can for him. That kid from this view, gray area, cool. He goes in, I go out. And making it as simple as possible for him. He's got to know the difference between 2-by and 3-by, but going into the game with one or the other. Like, we would rarely ever go into the game with a 3-by and a 2-by bubble. Here it is to the field, and here's a good picture. Not a good block, but a good picture. 2-by, this is to the field. We're running an outside zone. Reading the Sam backer now. This is 2-by. 3-by, reading the Mike. 2-by, reading the Sam. He's in, I'm out. Now this is a good picture of the outside receiver. He should press it for 2 more steps. Press it for at least 4 to let that declare itself out. We would love to put this on the corner. We'd love to put any run on a corner, any perimeter run on a corner. Bubble, we would love to put on a corner. And we could spend an hour talking about the technique. At least he takes a shot here. It's terrible. If he took 2 more steps, it would help him declare that, Coach. He should take at least 4 off the ball. He takes 1. If he took 2 more, it would declare itself out, and you would probably argue he is blocking right now. But 2 more steps would also push him back 2 more steps. Same thought here. Again, this is tech, odd, defense, or true 3-4, reading the overhang. Overhang in, so in this case for them it's the Leo, but it's their boundary hook player. Cool. He's in a gray area pre-snap, he's in, we're out. Here you go, Coach. You would love for him to come off a little bit faster, but these guys do so much rocking and rolling with across formation motion that he's just coming off trying to sort it out. I would say that's on the right guy. Not a great block, but on the right guy. Boom. Now, say the throw is late. Into the boundary, he should, if he's going to take it, it's got to get out. It's a hair late. I don't want to say a hair late, it's a hair behind, which doesn't time it up. It's not late, I take that back. He catches it right behind him. It's just a hair behind, which doesn't allow it to strike a match. Last one here. 2 by. You can see here to the field, really, really tough to tell who he should take. Take 1 and make him right. I'd say he does a decent job here of making a fast decision and going. If he took him and you put him on the corner, you'd be all right. Takes him, that's a terrible angle to try to tackle at. And these guys, we're running inside zone out of the pistol because they're playing a robber, like a stack principle with a robber. We know in the pistol we can get this whole thing sucked down and make it really, really easy on the quarterback to see this out of the pistol. So we're not necessarily a pistol inside zone team, but we've given ourselves the last 2 years the ability to do it versus teams like this that are playing matched robbers based on backfield set. We'll take it away from letting them figure it out. It's been a really good deal for us. Let me go to, we did run quads, bubble, a ton, primarily as a tempo play. And for us, this has been, for 2 years, been a really, really big 3rd and short, or we got a good play, try to steal a chunk play off of it. So quads, that's the tight end there, inside zone, and running bubble with it, but making sure that off of it, we've also got post wheel off of the bubble. That way, it's not the same every single time. So you got to figure out if you're going to play the bubble or you're not as somebody defending it. So this, for us, this is 2nd and 1. This is our first drive of the year. And we schemed it up a little bit against these guys, knowing that we wouldn't know 100% what the look would be, but being able to cross-block this, especially into the boundary, being able to cross-block it, but a little bit different. I guess my whole point to put this on here, it's really hard in a tempo play to tell him who to read. all we told the quarterback was, is it covered down or is it not? There's 2 guys out here, throw it. There's 3 with a high safety, again, 10 yards being the rule, throw it. If it's anything other than that, run inside zone. And we've always got a cutter there, so you're protected. Same exact deal, tempo here. Most of the time, you're not going to get anybody lined up to a 4-by look in a tempo play. Again, maybe cheap offense, probably, but we'll take cheap offense. Most of you guys would too. So cover down, no, throw it. In theory, should be reading him. In a tempo play like this, it's really hard, and literally you got to have a feel for it. Take it. This is a really good picture with a pressed up number 2, but being strong at the point and trying to run him out, letting the bubble runner scrape the ass. Same deal here. Now this is to the field. This is our last game. I don't know if anybody caught it on TV. We played Drake and almost lost.
Coach, you said earlier that pressed up corner would take that away. What's your reason for still throwing it here?
Yeah, Coach. It's 14-14. This is a makeup game against the 1AA non-scholarship team that came in and literally beat our ass to a pulp in front of about 1,000 people on December 1st. If you look, this is literally all mud. There's a lot of stuff that happened here. So no, I got no answer for you. We literally erased this game from our memory. Coach, the Drake Bulldogs are like the toughest sons of bitches we've ever played. I'm telling you, we won in the last 3 minutes of the game on a score and then a 4-minute drive to run the clock out. It was the craziest thing I've ever been part of. Coach Reardon,
Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Look, we literally have sold out every game at Iowa State for, they say 20 years. I don't know, I've been there for 3. We've sold out every game for 3 years. There was 1,000 people here, and we were trying to get our 8th win to make sure we got to go to the best Big 12 bowl game we could. And we did. And it was not worth it. Guys, we got 85 scholarship guys. They have none. And we won by 3 in the last 3 minutes. That's what's so awesome about this game. Mike Tomlin got me fired up. Yeah. So he shouldn't throw it, Coach. Pressed up corner shouldn't throw it. But same deal here. This was a year ago. Quads, rolling with it. And this tempo gave us the ability. This is our big guy that's playing the X for us, that was playing the X. This gave us the ability to throw him the bubble, which we normally don't. We ask him to block, but in a tempo play allowed us with one word to throw him the bubble and see what we could get out of it with him, which ended up working out. So, let me get to poster, because I think this is big and applies. I know you guys see a ton of quarters. This started out as a quarter beater for us. And I'll just go to the film because I know we're kind of rolling. All right. Poster for us was a quarter nosy boundary safety throw off of any run. Traditionally, we run it off of outside zone with a protected backside edge. Whether it's your tackle protecting the backside edge or a backside cutter of some sort with an H-back, fullback, or whatever. But it's become just an answer for us, even into one high with a safety that's going to lean one way or the other. We've gone to running field posts and boundary posts and giving him an easy read. The reason why off of outside zone instead of inside zone is because it's taken him time to read it out to see what the safety is going to do to determine whether he's going to throw it or not. Meaning he needs more time on the running back course to be able to read it out. We have run it out of the pistol with inside zone. For the outside, for the receiver, it is a five-step skinny post. We're saying his landmark at his break point is 15 yards on the hash. That ball should get thrown as before he gets, most of the really good ones get thrown somewhere around 2 yards outside the hash. and it ends up being right at about 15 yards. But that's his breakpoint aiming point, all right, for the outside receiver. 5 steps, 15 yards on the hash. The quarterback is reading in a quarter shell what the safety is doing. At 5 steps, he has to have determined what he's doing. If he doesn't determine what he's doing, hand the football off. We used to teach it as, man, you could push it to 7 steps because you got to break the heels of the safety as the post runner. Well, we've kind of come to the conclusion that if you have to push it to 7 to break the heels, the ball should have been handed off. All right? So in too high, reading the safety, can he help? Is he coming down for the run? And literally keeping it that simple for him. In one high, if the rotation is away, and you have the ability to fit it in, but it's got to happen as fast as it can so that the post throw doesn't end up into the safety. So here's a good picture of it. Safety works to the middle of the field. This ends up being a little bit sloppy and a little bit late, and we're actually running into it with the backside cutter to make him determine what he wants to do. Pressed up, good job winning inside, keep it high, we'll lead you high. Here it is off of an inside ISO type scheme, but protecting the backside edge to make sure the quarterback has got room. Too high. Again, these guys are playing with a robber, but too high. 5 steps for the outside receiver. Make a decision. And I know I'm going kind of fast, but alignment on the poster throw is critical. He's got to be in the paint to bottom of the numbers to keep himself out of that. But you can see this is a good 5-step break point for him. Caught right on the hash. Now, this takes some balls now because that's really, really, really great. And going into this week, we said, hey, 11 will eventually get nosy enough, which is why rather than outside zone, we're running it with more of an ISO or a zone insert picture because we know 11 will eventually come in. And going into this game, knowing that he's nosy as he can get. He's a really good player. Here, Drake again. But I'm not sure what defense this is, to be totally honest with you, but it's a one-high defense. He's in the middle of the field, and he's coming down. Actually, here you go, Coach. We're up 3. It's 2nd and 10, and we're on our own 20 with 2.5 minutes left in the game, almost 3 minutes left in the game. So this wins us the game. We're in 12 personnel and just running inside zone with a double edge and literally to the field, post, 5 steps, 2 yards outside the hash, 15-yard aiming point. But making it as easy of a read on him as you can get. This has been really good for us. This is off of counter, starting in empty, with an H-back back in the backfield, knowing again there's a ton of motion in this game because when you move, they'll get to their final defensive alignment. These guys did a bunch of really good stuff on defense. But there's the safety you're reading. Pre-snap, that going from empty to an 11 personnel set, predetermined what he's going to do, 5 steps, he should rip it. Ends up scaring him. Our quarterback's going to end up being pretty good. And I say that humbly. I hope he stays healthy because he's a pretty special cat. This is off of inside zone, protected. 1 high, boundary safety rolls down, we're going to go right over his head. As long as we know we can keep it away from him. It's on the quarterback to keep that safety occupied long enough with his eyes, and the ball has to be thrown far enough outside the hash that he doesn't get his kid killed. For 17 yards, we'll get him killed, actually, but I'm not going to be, we don't care. That's a joke. Kind of. But we do, just for what it's worth, if we're going to run inside zone and throw a poster RPO, so a deeper throw where the quarterback truly has to set up, we will coach the backside. If we're going to run inside zone, the tight end on the backside is going to try to cut off that C gap and then kind of settle in there. It's going to look like a sloppy cutoff every time because he's going to sit back in there knowing that quarterback is possibly set up behind him. We're sacrificing that a really good C gap cutoff to protect the quarterback. Because if he was just going to run and cut it off here, and this DN realizes that it's getting thrown, we can get our kid killed. Him, we won't sacrifice for 17 yards. But just if you're going to run it with inside zone, I don't know how much time I got. Cool. I'm going to go to Colt here for us. Colt has become our biggest answer against these odd teams that you have no idea who the force defenders are. Meaning 3-3 stack and they are insert safeties, or 3-4 and they are outside linebackers / Leos, or against our defense where you have no idea who the force defender is. We play a variation of an odd stack. So Colt in its simplest form is, and it's drawn up a little bit goofy here, but is a 2-by concept. You can run it as 3-by out of 3-by as well. We have not, we will this year, but inside a slant by number 2, if it's too high and the man over top of you as the number 2 receiver is so far inside of you, you can't get inside of him, cool, you can wrap him. You end up being chummed out. And a shin on the outside. A shin is a 5-yard in. 5-yard, pop at the top and coming in flat, friendly to the quarterback. The read is exactly the same for him as a 2-by bubble would be. Just a little bit more simplified. Here's what the quarterback knows. If number 2 is getting eaten up, likely number 1 is going to be free. If number 2 is open, take him. So it's a green grass read for him, and essentially what he knows is if it's a 6-man blocking scheme, you're throwing it off of the last guy that we can't block. I don't know, an easier way to simplify it. So for him, in this picture here, rewind, goes to 1 high. They got 1 more than we do. If it was too high, he'd run the ball. 1 high, they got 1 more than we do. We can't block that one. So now I'm reading the inside slant to the outside shin. This has become a huge answer for us in tempo plays, and like I said, these odd teams that, this is Oklahoma, they're generally an odd team, but he's pressed up, the shin's going to be open. This is a really shitty shin route. It's poor. He reaches, doesn't get truly to 5, but the corner's so, I'm not making an excuse for him, the corner's so far off he gets inchy with it to try to get in there, but friendly back to the quarterback. This has become a huge answer for us, like huge, huge, huge. Inside zone. Now, too high, you should say he can run the ball. This kid, I don't really have a great reason for you why he does it, but he does it. He should run the football. Inside, slants open, he completes it for 7, we move on. But too high, should run the ball, unless he's going to say that that guy right there is inside of 10 yards. I felt like we couldn't block him, so I'm working the RPO. Literally that simple for us. Here you go. Cool. This is TCU, blitz, you're going to work it right into the blitz. We can't block that guy. Throw it right into the blitz. Inside slant being taken away. Shin on the outside. This is a pretty good shin route on the outside. He could take one more revolution here to get to 5 and engage the contact, but comes out of it flat, we'll take it. Now, this inside slant, different than a true slant as you would teach it in a 3-step game, too high inside of me, we want you to go over top and wall it down. Wall it down. Just wall it down.
Hey, Alex, if he gives it there, he's going to get some yardage.
Could. You'd also love for these two to sit through that. But yes, he could.
Because, I mean,
We're going
so
with
you already
him.
have, you got one more half an acre. You have like kind of 6 on, I mean, he would be 6.
He would be
Now
6.
you got like 6 on 5.
Well, and Coach, I'm 100% with you. If he could run, we would totally play it different. This was really big for us when we had the Kemp kid and this Nolan kid who can't run, where for him, just like bubble, blitz 2, throw. Take the RPO right into it, and made it as simple as we could for him. But I couldn't agree with you more. This is off of a mid zone, and again 2-by quarters team. This was more schemed up for us to be able to take the tight end, knowing that they play the safety outside of the tight end and locking the backside tackle on and just reading him. He plays into the run, and we do have numbers here. This was truly a schemed up quarters deal, knowing to an attached tight end that they play the safety high and outside with the shin coming in from the outside. But reading, again, a little bit different into the boundary. You're giving him the read. He's in at all. 4-step, go in across the face. Same deal here. Safety high. We're being super greedy here. In theory, should be. Am I tired? Nobody's actually keeping track. And then off of the Colt, the only other answer that we thought was good for us was a locked hitch on the outside rather than a shin. If we know we want a 1 high answer, locking the hitch and reading off of the defender over number 2. Slant, if there is no defender over number 2, I'll show you the picture, but a true 5 across, then he could just hitch up and not slant, and locking a hitch on the outside off of it. Let me give you a good picture here. Like here. A squat, a 33 press look of some sort, but being able to hitch up man over number 2. So there's some goal line stuff on here that's really good. If you've got big receivers, there's a bunch of goal line RPO type things that are on here. If you guys want any of it, just shoot me an email and our video guys will send it out to you. My card is sitting there. Feel free to call, email, whatever. I'll send you whatever you want. But I really appreciate you guys coming, and go Titan.